Well, this is my second attempt filming this, and I'm glad I decided to redo the first shoot because I have more to talk about. Yep. So, what's up, guys? Meowing. I'm back in the video, and we're talking about the NASCAR Xfinity Series race at Atlanta. Justin Allgaier gets the win, and there's a whole lot of controversy, and there was a fight. Hence why I'm kind of glad I'm redoing this. So, we will get to that shit later, but first of all, actually, you know what? You know what? I'm going to talk about that right now. I'm going to talk about that right now. So during the race, there was an incident on pit road between Daniel Hemric and Noah Gragson, and it took a little bit before I could actually see a shot of what happened. But Gragson backed into Hemric on pit road. Now, my opinion of what happened was Gragson was trying to adjust where he was in his pit box because if you notice, he was pretty close to the white line, the outline of the pit box. But at the same time, I will admit, you do need to have situational awareness because if there was a crew guy there, or if there was a crew guy, I can't speak, coming from the left side of the car to the right or the right to the left, Gragson could have backed into them. Thank God nobody was there, or there was no crew guy in between, but still, you never know. Something could have happened. But, again, I think he was trying to adjust where he was in the pit box, but you need to have situational awareness. Some people are calling for Gragson to get suspended. People are calling for NASCAR to take a look at this. Well, they're probably going to have to take a look at it now because, and this is the reason why I'm kind of glad I'm redoing this, after the race, uh, thanks to the guys at NASCAR on Fox on the Twitter account, Gragson was being shown doing an interview, and Daniel Hemric comes over from the left, and he starts getting into it with him, and there were punches thrown. Now they were separated, and then Hemric tried to get back at him, and then kind of separated, and then Gragson tried to take a shot. It's madness, and then they finally got separated. There's a comment made from Gragson. I'm not going to get into that. The Jesus Christ, what a season for Gragson so far, and we're only like 5 races in. What a season for both of them. I mean, again, Hemric's had so much bad luck in his career. He's got a full-time ride in Xfinity. He's got to prove it, and he's had some great runs so far, but he's also had some bad luck. Gragson has had nothing but bad luck. Daytona, opener, got caught up in somebody else's mess. Road course starts off with issues before the race, finally gets up in a position to win in the final on the final restart, and then gets caught up in somebody else's mess. And then the rest of the races had been pretty much the same. Last race, obviously, engine issues, just the whole thing. Again, what happened today, and he ended up, and still, Gragson finished 4th. I think Hemric was in the top 5 or 10. But as far as for what happened, again, Gragson, as far as I'm concerned, was trying to adjust where he was in the pit box. And he backed up too close to Hemric and possibly got into Hemric. Now, some are saying, or I saw one person say that Gragson flipped Hemric off at some point. I saw a tweet from Bob Procris talking about why Gragson was pissed off. I honestly don't fully know what to make of it, so that I'm just giving my stance. But again, I will admit, you do need to have situational awareness in that moment. And then the fight afterward, I mean, I'm not mad that Hemric was pissed off because honestly, he thought that Gragson did him wrong, and he wanted to tell him that. And by tell him, I mean pick a fight with him. Now, is Noah Gragson the best guy to pick a fight with? You can ask Harrison Burton from last year. But, yeah. Anyway, that all aside, Justin Allgaier holds off Mark Truex Jr. at the end of the race to win it. Basically, to go over the race, AJ Allmendinger failed inspection multiple times, so he starts at the back. Martin Truex Jr., as I mentioned before, he was charging to catch Allgaier at the end. He was making his first Xfinity Series start since 2010. Austin Cindric got the early lead. Truex got around to about 7-8 laps to go, and then Cindric's car just was never the same after that, it felt like. We get a competition caution at lap 20. Then Dexter Bean spins with about 5 to go on the backstretch. So we get a 1 lap shootout to the end of the stage. And then we get a caution on the final lap of stage 1. Brett Moffitt gets into Brandon Jones, just basically one of those situations where Moffitt was not clear of him. Jones tried to save it, but he ended up turning on the backstretch going into turn 3, collects Moffitt. Gragson got collected in it, and then basically it was everybody trying to avoid it. And a few other drivers got caught up in it. Allmendinger did. Austin Cindric got a piece of it. Hemric almost looked like he got a piece of it, but he got cleared. David Starr doored Mason Massey trying to avoid getting hit, and he still got, his rear bumper torn almost off. I think thanks to Moffitt. Austin Cindric got a piece of it. Allmendinger got a piece of it. Timmy Hill got caught up in it. Pretty big wreck down stage 1. Mark Truex Jr. would win the stage. Harrison Burton second. Justin Allgaier third. Justin Haley fourth. Michael Annett fifth. Austin Cindric in sixth. Jeremy Clements in seventh. Hemric eighth. Barry ninth. And Jeb Burton in 10th. Brett Moffitt done for the day. I thought that Brandon Jones was going to be done, but he actually was able to get towed back to the apron, and the reason why was because he was able to get the car refired. Now, he would get a 2-lap penalty for too many men over the wall while under the damaged vehicle policy. And his sway bar link was broke, but he managed to tough it out and finish the race. Jeremy Clements got a removing equipment penalty, and Landon Castle and Josh Berry both got improper fueling penalties. Then during stage 2, AJ Allmendinger had to pit for a vibration at one point. Chad Fincham ended up going to the garage. Mark Truex Jr. wins the stage. Allgaier second, Haley third, Harrison Burton fourth, Herbst fifth, Annett sixth, Myatt Snyder in seventh, Jeb Burton in eighth, Jeremy Clements ninth, and Brandon Brown in 10th. Alex LeBay would get an equipment over the wall too soon penalty. And then during stage 3, Matt Mills would come down pit road, either losing an engine or spun. No caution for that, but we would get a caution for Mason Massey, who spun on the backstretch. And then during that caution, during the pit stops under that caution, this was when the Hemric-Gragson incident happened. But also, Hemric got a crew member over the wall too soon penalty, and Martin Truex Jr. got a speeding penalty. That's a big deal. And then right on the first lap of the restart, Jeremy Clements and Jeb Burton got into the wall, so that would get another caution. And then a little while later, Josh Berry gets spun. Looks like he made contact with Ryan Sieg, or Sieg made contact with him. He corrects it, but instead of going down pit road, he tries to get back on the racetrack, and he plows the grass. His day is done. Speaking of, either we got to get rid of the grass, get rid of the splitter, or both. Just saying. And then we get the last restart. Brandon Brown, unfortunately, has to come down pit road after contact with the wall in turn 3 in the final laps. And as I mentioned before, Justin Allgaier holds off Martin Truex Jr. Truex Jr. was trying to run him down, but it wasn't enough. Allgaier gets his first win of the season. And this is a huge relief, honestly, not just for him, but for junior motorsports in general, because pretty much all of their guys have had issues this year. It's not just been Gragson, Annett, Allgaier, Barry. It's been something different every week. And to see one of them come out on top, Gragson managed a 4th place finish. Annett, I think, finished in the top 10. And obviously Josh Berry didn't get to finish, but, it is what it is. It was a pretty wild race, honestly. Definitely more entertaining than the truck race. Kyle Busch got confirmed as the winner after Tech. But again, as far as I'm concerned, it was a pretty good race. It really was. And again, as far as the whole Gragson Hemric thing, I think NASCAR is going to have to take a look at it now, considering that Hemric decided to try to pick a fight with Gragson, and for the incident itself. As far as what I think will happen, I really don't know. I mean, if NASCAR looks at it as Gragson was trying to adjust himself in the pit box, then I don't know if they do anything. But I think you have to look at comments made during the race, over the radio and some other stuff. And I don't want to say he's not going to get suspended, but if he does get a suspension, it would be justified. And I'm saying this as a Gragson fan. It would be justified if he did get a suspension or did get a fine or something, loss of points, whatever. If nothing happens, then then I like even as a Gregson fan, I'm not sure I'd be okay with that because I think you got to do something in that situation. But moreover, if I'm Dale Earnhardt Jr., you gotta talk to him, man. Like, I mean, I get Noah's Noah, and believe me, as a Gregson fan, I like that, you know. But it seems like this season he's been running on something different, and I don't know if it's that he's running pissed off every week, or if it's just something different in the mindset. But again, you look at Homestead with David Starr, nothing you can really do about that. You know, yes, you could say he could have backed off, you know, especially with the lead that he had, especially with what happened with Brett Moffitt. But even still, he was going to run his line. He was committed to that line. And he was dealing with lap cars that at times didn't seem like they didn't want to get out of the way. I'm looking at you, Jade Buford, coming off one of the corners at one point before the David Starr incident happened. And then the David Starr incident happened, and we all know what happened for the rest of the week. You know, Gragson gave his comments. Starr really, I don't really think David Starr took any shots at Gragson on social media, but Starr's team owner Carl Long did. You know, and all that. People, you know, obviously people already don't like Gragson, not just for the way that he is, but for other shit. Obviously, you have, you know, his father, which if you hate Gragson because of his father, I don't know what the hell to tell you there. That's on you, but I don't see that as a justifiable reason to hate a guy. I mean, if you want to hate him because of his dad money that getting him to where he is, I guess you could say that, but that's also pretty stupid argument because we see that get made with a lot of drivers, and I'm kind of sick of that, honestly, just saying. You know, there's this other incident that happened years ago. I'm not going to get into that. That's old shit. But again, I mean, you even look at last year, Bristol, Gregson and Allgaier, you know, Gregson and Harrison Burton, I think at Kentucky, I believe, last year. And then obviously, again, David Starr incident, and then today. The thing with Gregson for me right now is I like that he's aggressive. I like that he's outspoken and that he wears his heart on his sleeve and that he's not afraid to show his passion. You know, we as fans have been clamoring for drivers to show their passion when it comes to what they do. And I respect that. But the problem is, in my opinion, and I'm saying this as a Gragson fan, is that I think Gregson's running on a fine line, a really fine line when it comes to this. And it you gotta wonder when is he gonna hit the proverbial iceberg and when is shit just gonna fucking hit the fan? So if you're Dale Jr., what do you do here? I mean, if you're if you're Gregson's teammates, so I'm specifically looking at Allgaier and Annette. What do you do here? Elliott Sadler, former teammate. What do you do here? You know, I don't know how much talking you can do to him. I don't think Gregson's going to change entirely, but he does need to smooth out a few of the rough edges, and I think today really showed that. Again, as far as the whole Hemric thing and what NASCAR decides to do with that, we're just going to have to see what happens. But yeah. So as a Gregson fan, I'm happy you got a top five. I'm happy the car came alive towards the end, even with the damage. I'm not happy about what happened with Hemric. The Hemric trying to take a shot at him and trying to fight him. I mean, Hemric's one of the nicest dudes out there. So if you piss him, so you have to really piss him off to piss him off to do that. And you could say that Gregson did. But again, as far as I'm concerned, we're just going to have to see what happens. I mean, I think the worst thing that could happen would be if Hemric gets penalized for trying to fight Gragson and nothing happens with Gragson with the incident. That would be the worst thing to happen. Even worse than if nothing happens to Gragson because of the incident. Um, if I had to predict anything, I feel like there's probably going to be a fine, maybe some points docked. But if there's a suspension, I'm not sure for how long it would be. But I think if there is a suspension, I think it would be justified. Or no, it would be justified based on what happened up the road. Um, But as far as all that goes, we're just going to have to see what happens. And with that all being said, thank you all for watching. Hope you all enjoyed. And if you did, I will see you all next time, which will be the Cup Series race review tomorrow. Again, thank you for watching. Subscribe, like, leave a comment down below what you think, and I'll see you all next time. Peace.